good word, it's your boy DKB here. So we've talked a lot about this idea of Robert Saleh being on the hot seat if he can't piece things together and at least make a deep playoff run to secure his job. What we haven't talked about is the pressure that's actually on Aaron Rodgers, and we had a former Super Bowl champ that actually commented on this subject on the FS1 Speak show. So it came from Will Blackmon. He was a former, as mentioned, Super Bowl champ back with the New York Giants. This was in 2012. He also has a history of Aaron Rodgers when he was originally starting out with the Packers between 2006 and 2009. So pretty much played as a return specialist. He was a defensive back, 4 punt touchdowns. Nothing exceptional, not to discredit him or anything, but just putting it out there. We're not talking about a Hall of Famer, but still a key part of what was a Super Bowl run. With that said, what he had to say about Aaron Rodgers was that he's going to a desperate organization. They've never been to the playoffs for 20 years. They've had losing seasons in the past 7 years. There's a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And, reading in between the lines, there wasn't a whole lot. It was like a 2-minute clip, but reading in between the lines and kind of diving in to what I feel like what he's ultimately saying is that there's not going to be a moment for Aaron Rodgers to let off the gas. It's all gas, no brakes for a reason, right? From the moment he steps onto that field in week 1, when the games officially start mattering, we need to be racking up the wins immediately. We won't get a sigh of relief as a franchise realistically until we get an early playoff entry. Then we'll feel fine for a bit, and if injuries don't, end up creeping up towards the end of the season, the next hump will be, can we actually go out there and win some playoff games and get ourselves into the Super Bowl? We feel like we have one of the most complete rosters in the NFL right now, and I would argue Will Blackmon is 100% right here. Aaron Rodgers, and who knows if he feels this or not, right? But he 100% has a ton of pressure on him. He's looked at as not only a franchise savior, but he's supposedly saving Robert Saleh's job. He could potentially be saving Joe Douglas's job, although recent history shows that he's been overachieving, at least compared to some of the recent GMs that we've had leading the front office. And so you get curious about how he'll respond to that, right? We talked about the fact that a lot of people lament his lack of playoff success, right? There was a stretch of time where he was reaching the NFC Championship game back to back, and then he couldn't get over the humps. But as a lot of Packers fans will tell you, and as a lot of us as New York Jets fans that have done our research, you take a look at those teams that were placed around Aaron Rodgers, and they're really subpar. Again, the weaponry, you have to take a look at his supporting cast. Those weren't exceptional, right? And then you take a look at that defense, and really most of that unit ended up overachieving at key points just to get them to the playoffs. But they really survived behind the arm of Aaron Rodgers. So when it comes to him and being able to perform under the pressure, I don't think there's going to be any issues whatsoever. Packers, not a huge market like it is, or Green Bay, I should say. It's not a huge market like it is in New York, but he's still been in primetime games. He's still been under the light. We don't necessarily understand it, but Aaron Rodgers does. He's lived and breathed this as there's a different level of scrutiny being a Hall of Fame quarterback, and one that a lot of people will recognize as being a first ballot Hall of Famer as soon as he's eligible, and then being talked in the same breath of guys like Tom Brady, guys like Peyton Manning. There has to be a constant chip on your shoulder, or a constant something that's separating you from the rest of the NFL. And in Aaron Rodgers' case, not only is it the level of athleticism that he's brought to the position, but it's definitely the arm talent. Again, plenty of people on record as saying Aaron Rodgers, one of the best pure throwers of the football to ever enter the NFL arena. And then again, you take a look at all of the records that he holds, the big one being the touchdown pass to interception ratio, which I want to say is like a 4-1 or something along those lines. I don't know. It's not something that I'm really as concerned about as anything. I think really a lot of what concerns me is how healthy can we stay, right? Injuries are going to pile up for everybody, but we've had luxury is not the word. we've had the worst of luck in this department. Not only has it hit entire units and kind of rampage throughout, but we've seen it decimate a couple different positions, from linebacker to the offensive line. We've seen periods where key defensive line members had to go out, safety units completely destroyed. So yeah, I don't know. Knock on wood with all of that. Either way, the big point being here is, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on if you think that there's more pressure than maybe at any point in Aaron Rodgers' experience so far with this New York Jets fan base, considering what we've been through, leading all four major franchises in longest playoff drought, and a long list of disappointments in between all of that. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you again. Peace.